Welcome to the Khyber podcast. This is episode 2. The last one we did with our general manager, Mr. Vineet Chabra. And this time we have our director HR, Mr. Ahtisham Imtiyaz. He will be telling us about the human resource element, which is across industries these days, and how important it is. So welcome, Ahtisham ji. Ahtisham ji, so floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Ranjeet. As you said, my name is Ahtisham Imtiyaz. I basically belong to a village near Sopore town. It's called Varpura. I did my basic schooling from Sopore, and then I moved to Bangalore for my further education after 12th. I did my BBM and MBA from Bangalore University. And I have also done recently, 2 years back, I've done a degree from XLRI Jamshedpur,
Wow.
which is one of the premier institutes in the country.
Thank you for taking out time. I want us to deep dive into the HR perspectives which are there. HR department क्या करता है? Don't take offensive, but that is the regular norm. So I just want everybody from line down the staff to everybody to just know what are the challenges and things that HR department has.
So started my journey with Khyber in 2011. We were building a hotel at that point of time in Gulmarg, which is one of the ski resorts, which is one of the world famous ski resorts, I should mention. Started as a manager HR there, and then was there for around 5-6 years in Gulmarg before I moved to the corporate office of the group, and have been overseeing the HR functions of different verticals where we exist at the moment. The different verticals what we have is manufacturing, hospitality obviously, and aquaculture, and we have few more verticals coming up which are still in pipeline.
Great. So, would I be right in saying that the HR department in Kashmir kind of started with Khyber?
Yes, I mean you can, because I'll go a little back. Most of the businessmen, they were struggling to survive with their businesses, and they just wanted their business to run. Rather than focusing on the streamlining of their systems, processes, operations, and all.
This
Not
was
at all.
named something else before, I guess, the HR.
HR had, in fact, multiple names. The way we grow, the way technology grows, and it keeps on changing. Similarly, were the names of the HR, names for the HR rather. In earlier days, it was called personal management, and then it changed to human resource management, and now it is talent management.
Oh,
Yeah, names are different, but the functions are same.
great. How difficult is it to procure a talent in this geographical location? Although this is a very beautiful location, I assume that everybody would want to work here, but there might be some kind of challenges to procure it.
I remember we were opening the resort in Gulmarg, and opening a resort in a location where it snows around 6 to 7 feet in winters, and temperatures dip down to minus 15. It sometimes goes more than that, and summers also are very very pleasant. But yes, majorly these two seasons which a person faces there, and hiring for that location, which is at an elevation of 8,500 feet around, with no activities outside, to be honest.
Right.
One. Second is that retaining those people there, it was a huge challenge for us, because Khyber was not a very famous name before that out of Kashmir. The kind of resort we were opening, and then the kind of facilities which we have been offering to the guests, to the clientele, we had to hire top-notch people for that. Hiring those top-notch people from different locations of the country or different geographical locations of the country, we faced a couple of challenges. One, to have them there where the weathers are different than what they would have seen in their earlier lives. Second is that the times are now different, but at that time it was quite challenging for us to have those
We are
people
talking
there.
about 12 years.
2011, yes.
11,
2011,
right.
2012, we opened the resort. Yes, absolutely.
Great. Since, like you said, that the talents have been procured from different parts of the country, different walks of people. So, how do you keep the team motivated over there? And I've been personally working for the group, but how do the teams be motivated there?
A lot of challenges, as well as keeping in consideration the location. The management had already foreseen these situations or these challenges or these problems, because we knew that this is gonna be something which is very difficult to manage or maintain. You name it, we did it for our employees. Everything, whether it is a sports activity, indoor, outdoor, medical facilities, local transportation, medical facilities other than which are part of the your salary or which generally the companies give. We had an in-house medical store along with the medical assistant and everything, because it was a different location where people used to get sick very quickly considering the altitude and all those things. We had to do all these things from the beginning to maintain the stability. Everything what we had, everything what we could do for employees, we did that part. So which helped us to maintain the attrition rate. We almost had no attrition from the day we started in 2012. I remember the attrition rate was less than 3%.
Wow, which is unheard of in hospitality.
Absolutely.
And I've heard, being part of the group for almost 3 years now myself, I have realized that people stay with Khyber for long. What is the magic soup there?
Yes, it's out of the experiences of employees joining us and leaving. I have built an assumption within myself. What I feel is a person who stays with us for 1 year mark, somebody who crosses 1 year mark, he stays with us for a longer time. But that one first year is very critical for him or for us as well. If he stays, if he could sustain for those 365 days, he will stay for us for more than 4 5 years.
This brings me also to the another question, since there are lots of perks for the employees. How important do you think the mental health and of the employee is these days?
Good question. I mean, two factors. One is physical health, and second is mental health. A lot of companies are focusing on the mental health or mental well-being of the employees, getting them involved into different activities or personal counselings where they understand the issues, problems of the employees. Once a problem or an issue is discussed with somebody, I feel half of the problem is solved, because it gets out of his mind, and the person has that feeling that I've shared my problem with somebody, and he gets a sense of belongingness with that person by sharing that problem, and then thinks that I'm getting towards the solution of this problem, right? So yes, very important, both physical as well as mental. But mental is something which is very important, because I can't rate them actually, but mental is something which is very critical, considering the focus towards their job. Let us say somebody has a problem in his family and he's still on the work, he will not be able to focus, he will make mistakes. True. He will, and then the consequences can be anything in an industry like hospitality.
True.
Yes, critical.
So now again drilling down to the further this thing. Now you are the HR department, like human management basically. Now where there are humans, there might be conflicts. As a person, not just as a company, or how do you go about resolving the conflicts that peers might have, team members might have against, with each other, or with their superiors, or might be with the external like guests or vendors, or these all things.
Or for that matter, with anybody.
Yeah.
Yes. There are two angles to it. A conflict arises between these situations, what you discussed. First angle is that how we want to deal with it, considering the policies, procedures, which are in-house inbuilt. and take these problems to a solution. Second is the angle of the law. I'll just throw some light towards the law as well. It's basically an industrial law. It has multiple acts which are applicable, which are governed, where we are governed by those acts. An establishment is governed by those acts. So one of the act is which is called the Industrial Dispute Act, and it is mother of all acts which governs us while handling these disputes. So typically, when you deal with a situation, when there is a conflict, when there is a dispute, you will have to refer everything. Initially, a person, whether he's an HR guy or anybody who's concerned or handling the role of the HR or an IR, he tries to look for a solution within his office only for a conflict, and tries to amicably sort out the issue and take it to the closure and go back to the normal, because this is part and parcel of the life.
Right.
But there is another bigger angle. It depends on the magnitude of the problem. You know, the person has to keep the law angle also in consideration and do his paperwork side by side accordingly while dealing with the problem or a conflict and taking it to the closure.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that we are in 2024, world is like there was a AD and BC. Now the world is divided in pre-COVID and post-COVID.
Postcode, yeah. Yes.
So now, what are the changes that you may observe as a HR professional, and with respect to Khyber, pre-COVID and versus the post-COVID era?
Good question, actually. A lot of changes. It was something which was new for all of us. Every sector, every vertical, every industry, it was something which was new. It was a natural disaster, obviously. Initially, companies focused on work from home option, and they gave all the facilities to employees to work from home, which was most successful in tech and other related industries, but not in the hospitality industry. Resulting that most of the people moved to retail and IT
Different
sectors.
industries,
Yes, different industries, because they felt unsafe working in the hospitality industry. This again resulted in one more challenge. The IHMs, or Institute of Hotel Management, across the country, which produces the best of the best talent serving in different hotels, top-notch hotels. They also got very badly hit, because people started showing that reluctance in getting themselves admitted or choosing hospitality as their career choice. So a lot of IHMs were struggling to get admissions from last 2 years.
Right.
And hence everything resulted in crunch of manpower for hospitality industry, which is still going on.
So, what are the technological integrations that, or a AI thing that a human resource department has kind of embraced, or in future it can be a possibility?
There are a lot of technological changes which has happened, especially post-COVID. Technology, process management, or people management. These are three important things which grow when a company grows, which are to be relooked at when a company has to grow, a company has to change. Out of these, I find people management is very critical, because if you are able to manage people well, your processes will be managed automatically. Your systems will be managed automatically. Your operations will be managed automatically. For any company to grow, to change, or to have his pace along with the industry, there are three important things. One is people, technology, which, as you said, and processes or systems. These three things are very important. When a company has to change, upgrade, have his pace along with the industry, these three things are to be taken care of, or these three things are to be enhanced. And then you will be able to compete with the people in the market or industry in the market. This is the biggest, basically, the opportunity for them to grow along.
Since we have a diverse team, how is the Khyber's policy about the diversity and inclusion at the workforce?
See, we are into, as I said, we are into hospitality, manufacturing. We are also into aquaculture. Different industries require different manpower, different skill sets, with different backgrounds, obviously. To maintain or have an inclusive team in different industries, there are different approaches. The best example I can give you is the hotel or the hospitality division, what we have. I remember initially when we started, we had zero female employees in hotel. Moving on, we realized, there are a lot of female guests who would not feel comfortable in the hotel when they don't see around any female employee.
Right.
We tried to hire female employees, but there was some unwillingness, reluctance. It was like 12 years back, around, 10, 12 years back at that point of time. But now things have changed. If you ask me now, we have around 25 odd female employees in the hotel alone.
And growing.
And growing, absolutely, and growing. And they're really doing good. That block has gone out of their mind. Yeah. So they're equally at par like male employees as well.
I feel that sometimes probably they are better.
In certain cases, if you ask me, yes, they are certain. I mean, housekeeping department, particularly in a hotel, is handled by the women only, and it also helped us to reduce the conflicts.
Right.
When you have the female employees, they are not
Yes.
much into these things.
So what are the top 5 Khyber HR goals? What are the top 5 things on your list for Khyber, across your line of businesses?
To the point, people development. We want people to stay with us, grow with us. We should be able to give them a path for their growth. Technology. The focus is to have technology in place wherever it is possible, which will help us in decision making in future.
Right.
And third thing is contribution towards the society. We feel we are responsible towards the society, and an amount of contribution in developing the society is again the focus. And retention is, yes, now it has become a challenge for us because the percentage of attrition has slightly gone high, has not crossed 5-6%, but still I consider that high as So retention is something which is very important for us. Focusing on the retention of the employees will be our primary agenda as well. And last but not least, environment is something which definitely we would want to contribute by having a balance and contributing in an eco-friendly environment. So these are the 5 things we would definitely want to focus on.
At Khyber, does a employee have a career path of growing? How do you groom them or help them grow to the next stage?
Yes, those plans are already in place. Personal development plans are there. Let us say, for example, a typical executive who would want to move to a next level, which is assistant manager. We definitely put him on that plan for 6 months to 1 year, depending on the role, depending on the responsibilities, what he's handling, or depending on the criticality of the role. We fix the timeline. And we assign a monitor or a buddy to him who oversees his progress, his growth, and the department head and plus the head of the particular hotel. He also monitors these things closely, and that is how we show him the growth path. So he grows in a very short span of time.
I guess we have already broken many of the cliches of the HR department, that HR department is not only creating the annual days, maintaining the rosters, but there is much more to it, which is there.
Absolutely.
So now there is one more thing for an aspiring HR professional, like somebody who has probably recently joined. So what is the DNA of a HR? Who can become a good HR? That's what I'm asking.
A person with an amount of patience can be a good HR in combination with his passion towards people, problem solving. This is one angle. Another angle or another attribute, what the quality or the skill, what he should have is he should be knowledgeable about basic laws and regulations, which is missing. Okay, if we talk about Kashmir particularly, I have seen a lot of HRs. A lot of times I have interviewed people also. Most of them don't focus on, what is a law. What is a law? See, as an employee, if you come in, you are being told that 12% of the basic is your provident fund
Right.
from your side, and 12% is from the employer side. Is it right? Is it wrong? How do you know? How would you know whether the person who is an HR of a company explaining it to you is right or wrong? You just go by your previous experiences that you would have experienced in previous companies, 12% of the basic, right?
Right.
This is how you go.
Right.
But you don't know whether it's right or wrong. So there are certain acts which govern us, and an HR should be in a position to answer about those questions. If you ask me, if I'm an HR and you're an employee, you ask me why is this 12% being deducted? What is it exactly? I mean, is it my share only or is it employee share also? Who has to pay the other share? Will it be part of my CTC or will it not be part of my CTC? Who is an employee? Who is a worker?
Right.
There are a lot of things which these HRs neglect, and they don't study. They're not in touch with the laws which govern us. See, a company makes policies, procedures, systems. And all these policies, procedures, systems are typically an HR handbook. It should be in sync with the labor laws. Then only it makes sense. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. Tomorrow, let us say we spoke about disputes. Tomorrow, you get into a dispute, an industrial dispute. If your policies, procedures, systems are in sync with the laws, what are being defined, you'll easily be able to deal with that dispute and then proceed accordingly. So this is very, very important, and this is very, very critical to focus on. An area which is being neglected, particularly.
Okay. And on a lighter note, uh, are women better HR professionals than men?
I mean, it's a very tricky question for me, to be honest. I have some of my team members are women as well. I mean, ladies as well, and obviously gentlemen as well. It depends on person to person. It depends on your zest, your energy level, your focus towards being an HR professional.
Right.
So, irrespective of a male or a female.
Great. This brings me one more cliche or complaint that I also had at some point of time. HR departments don't respond to the applications, the jobs, or something. Yeah. Why is that?
$1 million question. I will answer this. And second, which we were earlier talking about, is that HRs don't do anything,
Yeah.
right?
I still
First
believe
one.
that.
Yeah. First one. Currently, there are a lot of social media platforms, where the job, we also call them job boards in technical term, where the jobs are being posted, and then you get bombarded with the applications. A lot of people apply for the jobs. I'll answer your question by giving an example. I recently posted a job for a technical head for one of our companies, and people responded with their applications who were 10 plus 2, who were 12 pass, who were 10 plus 2 plus 3 with no experience, all freshers. Do you expect me to answer them? So revert to them where the job description is clearly mentioned, the number of years of experience, his earlier job role or his earlier experiences should be in blah 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 areas. It doesn't make sense. And second logical thing is that we can't respond to thousands of people by telling them, no boss, sorry, you are not shortlisted because of ABCD reasons. For that, we have the job description which we put on the different job boards on the social media. This is answer to the first question. Second one is HRs don't do anything. They just process salary end of the month, and that's it.
And do the activities, the
Yes,
annual
activities.
days.
Yeah, annual days activities. You
Uh,
did mention about it.
yes.
There are the whole cycle of the HR starts with interviews. Okay, let us say I have to fill a post, single post, and I get around 50 applications for it. I have to screen all the CVs. After screening, let us say shortlist 10 CVs. Shortlist 10 CVs, then talk to them or call them face to face if they are available locally. Then put them for the second round of the operations, and then usually third round. Generally, there are 3 rounds of the the interviews. So it takes a lot of amount of time for us to screen, shortlist, and then present. And then if the person is shortlisted, offer negotiation, documentation, whether the documentation is right or wrong, his resignation with the current company, they relieving him, not relieving him, our requirement of him joining on a particular date. There are a lot of things, lot of small things which falls in the cycle of the HR. This is just the
This is just the hiring part.
this is just the hiring part of pre-onboarding, of onboarding, and
Yeah.
then hiring, actual onboarding, and then the documentation part. After the documentation part, you have the induction and orientation, and then you have the trainings, basic trainings to sail through the culture of the particular company he's being hired for, and then his employee relations and grievance handling, and then his payroll, and then his exit. I mean, this is the whole cycle, you know. And second, as I was mentioning earlier, also there are more than 20 industrial laws which govern us. More than 20 industrial laws, and in a lot of under a lot of these acts and laws, an HR is supposed to fill in the returns, get the certifications, licenses, maintain the records, which nobody sees. And these directly go into the PF, Provident Fund Department, Labor Department, ESIC Department, and sometimes other departments of the government is also involved into it. Hope this answers your question.
Yeah, we can feel a lot of pain points of the HR these. So yeah, interesting. I guess that brings us to the end of the session. Is there anything else that you want me to ask you?
Thank you so much, Mr. Ranjeet, for having me here. It was a lovely discussion.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.